I would like to discuss the n factorial problem from assignment number 5. I received a submission. I had mentioned in class that it's okay to do that if you take steps to make the code your own and you heavily comment the code as well as provide the citation. And so that's what the student did. They obtained the code. And then down here we have lots and lots of comments. Now let me show you something that's just absolutely insane. All right. You never comment like this. We have comments stretching out to never, never land. All right. So this makes it absolutely miserable to try to figure out what's going on in the comment. Secondly, I've already made the corrections up here, but down here, you'll notice that the comments are butted right up against the hash symbol or the pound sign. That makes it really hard to read as well. So the first order of business is I'm going to go through and clean up the comments so that at least I can see what the intent of this user was when they did this. All right, so I'll come down here and I will pause because it's going to take me a while to get through all of this. All right, and we'll come back. So I've changed some of these comments. I haven't changed them all yet because I want to point out some other issues. Whoops, I forgot to fix those down there. Hold on a second. Okay, so I'm back. I think I've got them all within the boundaries here so that it's easier to read these comments. All right, so I've already fixed this. It says get X module. That's this critter right here. Okay, takes the user input for X and does error checking, making sure the number is 1 an integer and 2 an integer greater than 2. Whenever we do a module, we also include the parameters at PARAM, and the parameter is prompt, is a message. I'm going to say an intelligent message, and pop in a space there because I am intelligent message to the user. True to form, I spelled intelligent wrong. Okay, so we also are going to be returning something, right? So we'll go ahead and put in a prompt for that. Return the valid integer value. Okay, so X is equal to 0. That's fine. We probably should put a prompt in there as to what X is all about, right? Looks like if we look down through the code, what is X? X is the input. Okay, X variable to hold user input. Okay, so that's the Y. That's why that's there. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter to create a spacer so it's easier to read. Now you'll notice again we have that space in there that I missed. All right. Done equals false. Sets the Boolean variable done to false initially. Okay, I don't mean to say anything, but that comment doesn't say a single thing to us. There is no communication happening here. Why is done being set to false? You see, that's the question we've got to answer. So let's go ahead and grab a hold of this and let's pop it up here. And we answer the question why. Why are we sending done to false? Well, that's because done is the loop control variable. So I'm going to go ahead and initialize the loop control variable, LCV, for the while loop. Okay, so we're initializing the loop control variable for the while loop. This makes a whole lot more sense. And then down here, what are we going to do? This is executed when done is false. Again, this doesn't mean a single thing. Of course it's going to be executed when done is false. That is the nature of the while loop. Okay, why is this loop being executed? It is being executed to collect valid user input. Okay, so we say collect valid user input. And in parentheses, we may say non-positive, non-negative. 0 int, so that we know what valid user input actually is. Alrighty, so here we have x is equal to integer input prompt, so we're going to collect a prompt. And here, because the code was downloaded, you probably should put down that input input only ACQ acquires strings. Okay, so to int. Another one, on fail, accept. Okay, so it's a little note to ourselves that when it fails, if this fails right here, we're going to end up down here. Okay, so that's what we do. Now, down here it says, if x is greater than 0, and as you can see, I just simply did a carriage return to get all of these comments onto the page. It really belongs up above this if statement, so let's go ahead and cut that out of there and put it in there, and it says, this if else statement checks to make sure the int is greater than 0. If this is omitted, and I would actually say if omitted, the program will simply keep prompting the user with please enter a non-zero integer. Okay, and remember, we're not looking not only for non-zero, but we're looking for positive non-zero integers, so we would probably want to change our prompt to say positive non-zero integer until either a non-zero int or a non-integer character is entered. Alright, well, the non-integer character is not addressed in this if loop. The non-integer character is addressed up here, okay? Cast int for, might even write a note here, non-integer like that. All right, without this statement, or with this statement, we prevent 0 and negative ints from being used, right? That's what this is all about. So here's another problem. Why done was indented so many times is a mystery to me. All right, okay, so else the following is executed if the integer is not greater than 0 or is not an integer. If it goes through, we get done equals true, this section would be ignored, right? So let's see what this else thing does in total. I can say up above, process zero and negative ints. We come down here. There's the message to the user, which we don't need to comment. Ask the user if they wish to continue and prompt for input for the answer variable. I would just say ask the user if they wish to continue. That's it. Or even say, does the user wish to continue? And the answer is going to be string input, retry, yes or no. Okay, we're good to go there. And down here it says, check to see if the input is not either Y or Y. This logic is kind of a reverse logic, and I've seen this used. In fact, I've given examples of this in the past. Let's use a positive type of logic. All right, checks to see if the input is either check to see if the user wants to continue. If they want to continue, all right, here's a comment that says check to see if the input is not either Y or yes. We can see that that's what it's doing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this because we know exactly what it's going to do. But what I'm looking for actually is something that makes a little more sense. Okay, I'll say no. Do you want to continue? If user equals no, or actually, you know what? Yes is okay also. It's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen the other. But I'm going to use no since I'm already halfway through typing this. All right. If they don't want to continue, then we're done. So in this comment, if we're going to put one here, they don't want to continue. So they don't want to continue. Now we're going to come down here. Now, mind you, we haven't even looked at the logic in the code yet, right? We've done a little bit of stuff, but we haven't actually looked in the code. We're still trying to get our head wrapped around all of these comments. So it says here that if the user entered a non-integer,